Hello and welcome. I am so glad you're here. I'm Beth, a creator-based coach with CMH Coaching for Life. I'm here today to help you and those you love create a life you feel grounded and at home in. Think of a life where you feel peace, love for those around you, and in a flow with just enough challenge to keep you happy and creating something wonderful. Sounds like magic, but it's not. You can create that life every single day. You can have a life full of love, excitement, hope, and creation. Our mission at CMH Coaching is to flood the earth with light through compassion, mindfulness, and hope. And I'm going to ask a favor of you. If you like what you see and hear today, think of someone you know that would enjoy and benefit from this message. Our mission is to flood the world with compassion, mindfulness, and hope. Share this with them. But for now, this is time just for you. So settle into whatever you're doing and enjoy this time with the girls, where we create that one awesome, amazing, perfect life every one of us is seeking.
You gotta watch your thinking. Watch your thinking. Watch your thinking.
We are here for another week of Creator-Based Weekly. We call our podcast A Creator-Based Life because we work real hard to create the life that we feel is most important for us to live. I'm here with Jacine, not Jen, because Jen was called to the aid of a friend today who lost her husband, and we're really praying for them. But with Jacine, who is an avid runner, and she is a mom, and she's a business coach. And we're going to be talking today about resilience. Y'all know me. I'm Beth, a master life coach, an author. I have to look at my notes to even tell you what there is to tell about me. But that's because I had such a crazy weekend, which you'll hear all about. And I am the creator of the Creator-Based Way. Actually, it's not me. It was an inspired thing from Heavenly Father, but he's the one that told me to go tell you about it. So we're doing that. And the book is Creator-Based Coaching, or the Creator-Based Way. Create your one awesome, amazing, perfect life. Perfect as in fully developed, not perfect as in without flaw.
Yes.
because we're really, really sure that life is a 50-50 proposition, that we go through the great, and I love the great, and then we go through the not so great, and we ask what the lesson is when we're in the not so great, and we live it and we learn it, and then we get our respite with the great again. So we're all the time.
Yep.
Today, we're talking a little bit more about resilience because it's resilience this month, the whole month long. And I kind of loved the Oxford Dictionary definition. I'm a real word girl.
Mm-hmm.
And the Oxford Dictionary defines resilience as the capacity to withstand.
Mm.
And I kind of loved that, the capacity to withstand or to recover quickly from difficulties. It also defines it as toughness. Which, or the ability of a substance or object to spring back into its, I don't know if it springs back to its normal shape or if it springs back into a new shape, but it's the ability to spring back. And so I like the idea of that definition because it's withstanding things that are hard, which we know makes us stronger. It's recovering quickly, which is our 50-50. Right? I don't want to stay down here in the yuck any longer than we need to. And the bouncing back. I'm like Tigger, bounce. Yeah. Bouncing back.
And your silly putty.
Yeah. The silly putty. Yeah. I love the silly putty. In fact, I had Seth and Chloe here last weekend and we watched Sacrament Meeting together on a screen here at the house. And we had the three of them with Jared, all with silly putty. It was like primary children playing with the silly putty all the way through Sacrament Meeting. It was just funny.
Perfect.
But anyway, enough of that. We're getting ready to open Safe Haven Retreat. And y'all, I was just telling Jacine yet another hurdle. The kitchen faucet, which we purchased in June. Okay, you guys, it's September. We purchased it in June because everything was supposed to be done by the 4th of July. And it wasn't. We're still working on it, but that's this. That's the nature
Right.
of things. And that's the resilience and being willing to work and learn the lessons as we go. And I'm really glad it's taking as long as it has. It's been a really good learning experience.
Yeah.
And I've met some amazing people through the process. So when we just kind of let go and let things bounce, it works. But anyway, I'm not so bouncy about this whole kitchen faucet thing because in June, I bought it along with all the other faucets that we needed. It's been sitting in the workroom now for 3 months. We went to go get it today and it's gone. Somebody moved it to somewhere that made more sense and now we can't find it. And they're going to put the counters in 2 days and I have a choice. I can spend another $160 on a faucet or I can find this thing.
Oh man.
So yeah, just a little
Oh,
punchy about the whole faucet thing.
right? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, and you think about it, what does my brain want to do? Okay, so it could be up here. We're going to find the faucet. I'm simply going to talk to my creator. I'm going to humble myself and get close to him and be willing to listen.
Mhm.
And I will find it, right? It's just not
Right.
a big deal. We'll just find it and it'll work out. What is there to get upset about? But me personally, I kind of would rather be down here for a little bit about it and just be
Yeah.
mad, and so I'm doing this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because then that other part comes in, our brain part that says, yeah, but what? Right? The yeah, but.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
but
yeah,
what
but
if we don't find it? Yeah, but
yeah,
yeah.
then I have to go to Home Depot. But is that such a bad thing? And go buy another thing and smell the raw wood and think of all the potential there is after the retreat is done. Anyway, my brain, because it is a human brain, really wants to dwell on the negative. That's just where our brains go. They
Yeah.
want to dwell on the negative. And so it wants to be mad. And I'm just riding the wave up and down and up and down. Because
Well,
I don't want to
that
be
is
mad.
no, and that's normal. With the doctors that I coach, we talk about oftentimes, they're for whatever reason in September, it was a low patient visit month where patients just weren't coming in and they,
Were they
they
all sure they were going to go out of business?
scared and they're afraid that
Yeah.
that patients are changing
Yeah.
doctors or whatever it is.
They don't like me anymore. They're going to be gone. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, because doctors are human, right?
Yeah.
And they have those thoughts of, oh my gosh, what did I do wrong? Did I, yeah, do something to offend them? Did I do whatever it looks like?
Yeah.
But um, it's helping them get out of that and saying, you've been here before. Let's look back at your numbers. Look back at
Yes.
your stats.
And
And
you can see last year in September, for me in my coaching, it's usually August. Usually August is my lowest month for the number of clients I see.
yeah,
And then
yeah.
things begin to pick back up as kids go back to school and people go back to their
Mhm.
routine.
Mhm.
But
Yeah,
your brain is really wired. It's hardwired to run the negative
it is.
because for all of the time that there have been human beings, that's how we kept safe. But whether I have the faucet purchased and ready for the counter guys on Wednesday or not is no longer a life or death issue.
Right.
And so while we evolved to be that way, and all of our culture is that way, we get to choose. Yeah. And when we choose to focus, that's when we get to bounce. That's when things
Right.
get better. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Because it doesn't make me happy to think the negative thoughts. Oh, there is some part of me that just really wants to think the negative thoughts.
Well, yeah, yeah. Well, and I think it's normal and it's permission to be human. So we're going to be human, but then
Yeah.
we reach that point when we can look at our triangle, our dreaded drama
Yeah, we're
triangle.
not going to be victim anymore when we're going to
Exactly.
change and become a creator.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And usually for me, going from victim to creator when I'm mad about something like that, or persecutor to creator,
yes,
usually that involves music. And it's like either working really hard, something physical, working really hard and really fast, or dancing really hard and really fast. Something physical that will help me to shift that energy. It's like I got to get it out. And if I
yeah,
don't get it out in a physical way that's good, I'm going to get it out by yelling at somebody or being snarky.
right.
And
Yeah, yeah.
snarky is really fun, but it is not healthy.
Not so much. Yeah.
It is really not. So for me, when I get into this place, I go back to my foolproof protocol, well practiced. I've been practicing it for years and years and years. And I'm still practicing it to this day and expect to practice it all the way until I'm done here. And that is to touch base with my creator every morning and every evening, and quite often during the day, because in a creator-based way, it's like we have this ongoing conversation with him as we're going through the day. And
Right.
we've got a relationship that we're trying to build. And a lot of times that means we have to change ourselves as we go through the day, and we're touching base with him. But that's what really makes the difference for me, because when I go to him, he speaks peace to my heart.
Mm-hmm.
And that really makes a difference. And then I notice things like my contractor is a really good guy. And I love my husband, and I don't want to beat them both up.
It seemed like a good idea at the very
It
beginning.
seemed like a good idea. And boy, I'm glad I just held my tongue. But by checking in with my creator, it shifts my perspective. And that makes a huge difference. What's that work like for you? How do you deal with the snarkies and the irritations of life?
Oh man. Yeah, it's part of life, right?
It's an important part of life. It's how we learn.
And it's a choice. I mean, we get to choose how we're going to react to that, because I had a different but similar experience this weekend. We were driving and had about a 3.5 hour drive, and my husband was listening to classic rock, and it was a lot of
It's a lot of classic rock for 3.5 hours. I love classic rock, but not for more than an hour, usually more like 30 or 40 minutes.
Oh, not even that long, especially like they were doing like the top 40 or whatever, and like the songs that I was just like, I can't even believe, out of all of the rock songs, these are the ones that you're choosing as the top four. Really? And they were like, it was
Was your
killing.
head starting to
Oh,
vibrate?
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it was just too much. My whole body was starting to vibrate. And so I said, can we please switch it to something that's like more toned down? And I said,
Yeah.
and my husband's comment was, well, I don't want to miss like the good songs. And I'm like,
Because they're going to get to the top 10, and I want to
yeah,
hear the top 10.
we're not
And I
hearing.
need to know what they picked, the suspense.
Well, and I don't want to miss the good songs, in this top 40, because there's going to be good songs in here. And I'm just thinking, okay, we've listened to like 10 horrible songs that you're
I
just like,
know.
I
Yeah.
mean, you're just, I,
Yeah.
anyway, so I put in my headphones. I mean, he said something really snarky. And so I was like, okay, I can choose. I'm just going to put in my headphones and try and listen to a book or whatever. And
Right.
like, even with the noise cancellation ones,
It
I
was still there.
feel, because you can feel it, right? In your
Yeah.
body, you can feel it. And so, like you, Beth, I just checked in with my creator and just said, can you just help me see this in a different way? Because I
Yeah.
know you don't want contention to be here in this truck for another 3 hours.
Yes. I don't want to have this escalate, because
And we're,
that's, yeah,
yeah,
so uncomfortable.
yeah, and we're supposed to be going and doing something that's really fun and cool for the weekend. And if I still have that contention, or we go into this whole
It
thing
won't be
with
fun.
contention, it will
Mm.
just spiral, right? And
Yeah.
so I just had to physically say, I choose zero contention. I choose zero
I love
contention.
that. I
I
choose
choose not
to
to have.
not engage in this contention.
Yeah,
I choose to not
yeah,
feel this, to not
yeah.
create contention. That's the thing. We create our own energy.
Mhm. We do.
We really do have charge. It's not, you don't make me.
No,
That's just not it.
no,
We create it ourselves. Now, I know that in the sudden shock, you don't have control over, like a sudden
no.
loss or
Right.
like an accident or a sudden shock. I mean, that is just a survival kick in.
Yes.
And
Yes.
yeah, we honor that. But in the everyday nitty gritty relationship stuff, we create it. We carry when we harbor the little the little wounds or the little angries that we nurture on our own kind of in the background, or
Right.
the little bit of, what is it that I'm trying to say? But we just try the little bit we want to get back at somebody because of something, or just because we feel like we've been done wrong. I mean, we carry that stuff and we create that, but we don't have to.
No.
And I think that's the really cool part about checking in with our creator and having a relationship with him, is that we can, like you said, we can ask and
Mhm.
he will change our heart.
Right. Or help me see a different way. Help me
Mhm.
see a different, maybe this other person's point of view. Can you help me see them how you see them? Is a
Yeah,
question
because
I
we see a
often ask.
very narrow little bit of things.
We
Yeah,
do. We
we
do.
really do. And it's amazing that's one of the beautiful things about education, because the more you read and the more you experience other cultures and other peoples, the more you realize how very narrow our viewpoint really is.
So true.
And so, yeah,
Mhm.
that's a really good point. That is a really good point. Well, let's just talk a little bit. We have this leaning into resistance idea. And I know this is one of your favorites, is to lean in and let
Is.
God, right?
Mm-hmm.
But and I'm just going to keep going back to the faucet because it's the most recent
Yeah.
of the things that has
It's a great
happened.
example.
Right. And so we'll play with it. So we have a 5-step protocol that we work with where we lean into, and this is very clearly resistance in my brain, because I really just want to be mad and pitch a little fit and say, well, if you had, and do a lot of blaming and all of that
Right.
stuff.
Right.
And
Yeah.
that's not going to get me anywhere except feeling really bad when it's done,
Mm-hmm.
because I will have created hurt and misery. So let's just talk about these 5 steps. First one, identify the troublesome thought. And
Yes.
this is where the leaning in comes in, right? Like when you were riding with Mark
Yeah.
and you were feeling so uncomfortable, and he said, basically, no, I want to keep going. And what you want, sorry, too bad. You lean in close and you listen and you observe. And for me, the first thing that I notice when I lean into that kind of thing, and I'll go back to the faucet about this, is immediately my heart closed up. It was
Mm-hmm.
just a tight fist.
Mm-hmm.
And everything that I had been enjoying with building and creating and making, it just closed all the way down.
Right.
Yeah. And
Yep.
so when I get that tight fist feeling in my heart,
Mm-hmm.
that's a really good time for me to pause, check in with my creator, and then just to check in with myself.
Mm-hmm.
And what's the thought that goes with that feeling of tightness in my heart? And I'm not even going to say what it was, because it's just a plain embarrassing bad thought, right?
Just not nice. Yeah.
It's just not nice. That's right. But
Yeah.
that was the thought that was there. And so we can check on that gate, on that with the 3 gates. Was it true? No. Well, maybe. Was it helpful? No. And was it kind? No, it sure wasn't. So that thought doesn't pass any of the gates. And so
Mm-hmm.
we just discard it. But when you discard it, it's empty. And then what happens?
Then what do you put in there, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, for me, the next negative thought just wants to rush right in and fills the
Exactly.
spot. So
Exactly.
that's not healthy. So we
Right.
get it. We get some good thoughts, and I can build up an arsenal of good thoughts,
Mm-hmm.
and have things, my favorite go-tos. I love to collect quotes. And so sometimes it's a quote, sometimes it's a scripture, sometimes it's a song, but there's something in there. But you lean in and you listen and you observe. And here's the other thing for me. When I've got a thought or that tightness, generally, if I do a body scan, something else is wrong in my body.
Mm-hmm.
I feel it somewhere else, like a notoriously stiff neck,
Yeah.
right?
Neck, shoulders. Yeah.
Neck and shoulders. Yeah. And so I'll get into, especially when I'm mad, because I get stiff necked. I'm
Oh,
not going
yeah.
to bend.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
not going to look. I'm going to just be stiff and
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Then with that neck stiffness, I can also lean in there, or my shoulders, and talk with my body. Is
Mm-hmm.
that the way it works for you? when you
Yeah.
tell me for you, what's that work like?
Like for me, it's just being able to acknowledge that, oh, my hip is hurting right now,
Mhm.
or my knee or whatever, right? And just being able to close my eyes and just check in with that part of my body, and just like with my hip for sitting or something is just, oh, what is there a different position we need? Yeah, would that be helpful?
Is there a
Or
thought associated
is
with that
there,
discomfort
yeah, yeah. What's going
or
on
a feeling?
here? Mhm.
Because for me, the feeling that comes up with the stiff neck is blaming.
Mm,
I just want somebody to blame, you know, and I
right.
get stiff. But the low back, a lot of times the feeling that will come up is some kind of feeling unsupported, victimy in some way or another.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. And
yeah.
so,
Well, and I
yeah,
think that's really interesting to be able to check in and ask those questions. And I know, guys out there, this probably sounds like woo woo, and
it
this
is
is
not though, because our body is a
yeah,
gift to us
yeah,
from our God. We're specifically, our spirit is housed inside of a body. And so we are given this gift to help us to experience life more fully. So, I mean, if you
yeah,
like chocolate, just trust me, that's what your body's for, right? Tasting the chocolate. So,
yeah.
yeah,
It's true. It's so true.
yeah,
So, yeah, pay attention and ask,
yeah,
what is this all about? Is it purely just from my workout this morning, or is there more, that
yeah. Well, then
that
the stiffness from your workout even is a jumping off point for more thoughts, right?
mm, yeah.
Because when I stand up and my knee is stiff or my hip is stiff,
Mhm,
it'll trigger thoughts again that I can choose or not choose,
mhm,
that I can replace, because most of the time stiffness isn't something that I embrace. But yet when you lean in and you notice and you're kind to your thoughts in your body,
mhm.
you can shift it.
Right.
And it's weird because it's all little things all day long. But if you're attentive,
Mm.
you truly are creating a day that is beautiful.
It's like we've talked about this before, that in an airplane, you're doing course corrections the
The
whole
whole
trip.
time.
The
Yeah.
whole trip. And
Yeah.
that, if we look at our life that way, that we're flying a plane and we're trying to get to a destination,
Mhm.
we have to have those little course corrections. If not, if we ignore, then we end up pretty off course. And then it's
Yeah.
a major course correction. Not that you can't do it. However,
It's just a
it
lot
affects
harder.
everything, right?
Yeah.
And it is harder. It is harder. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep. Okay. Well, going through those 5 steps, we noted the thought, we noted the emotion, we noticed what was happening in our body. And then when you're there, I mean, this is so simple, but it's so effective. I did this a lot over the weekend. Take a really deep breath. Yeah, just in and then out. I had a wild weekend. My grandkids, I spent the weekend with the grandkids, and none of them were happy this weekend. And by the end of the second day, I went outside and sat on the back swing and just breathe. I'm like, I could sit here for 2 minutes and breathe,
Yeah.
and then there's the
Yes.
thought in my mind, it's not going to make any difference. We're just got to get to bedtime. We just have to endure it. I'm like, no, let's just sit and we'll just breathe. And so I get through the first breath and my brain is still going, it's not going to work. And I get through the second breath and my brain is going, it's really not going to work. You might as well just go in. There's juice all over the floor. You need to get that cleaned up. But about halfway through the third breath, I was like, oh, it's like, there you are.
There you are.
There
Yeah.
you are.
Your brain is now connected, right? It's
Right. It's
not
phenomenal, the
emotional
difference.
anymore, right? Now we have our
Yeah.
thinking brain on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we haven't flipped our lid, as Jen says, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. We caught it when it was like here
Yep. Yeah. Like ready
with
to,
the breath. So we
yeah.
didn't, because I don't want my grandkids to know how ugly I can be. I want them to be nice. I think my grandma's nice. So it was so helpful. It was just so helpful to breathe like that. And it's the same thing with resilience.
Right.
Breathing like that gives us resilience. It lets us just find ourselves again,
Mhm.
because we lose ourselves so often when we get swept up in emotion.
We do. And it's really easy to get in that current, right? You think of it as
Yes.
a river. And
Yes.
when you get in that current, it's hard to get to the side or to
Yeah.
safety
Yeah. You
unless
just
we
are
do
swept.
something to interrupt that current. And the breathing really interrupts the current of
Yeah.
doomsday and of everything's going wrong and my Eeyore brain. And
Oh
yeah,
my gosh. Yes.
like,
And it
yeah,
prepares for battle and it says
mhm,
terrible things to you. So we don't want to be there.
yeah,
So
yeah.
the breath and the checking in with your creator. And
Mm,
then this is the one that I struggle with. And I know you don't struggle with it as much as me. So you can talk about it. Willingness,
mm, yeah.
just the willingness. How do you use willingness in these situations?
I feel like I've been through enough pain in my life to know that resistance causes pain. And
Mhm.
whether it's with, a workout or whether it's, emotionally resisting things, um, I've had enough experience to tell me that that resistance really does cause pain. And it's easier for me to just say, and I really do have to say it out loud, is I choose.
I
I
choose.
choose
Mhm.
to go with the flow, or I choose to, this
I
is my,
choose to let this go.
yeah. And I know when I'm in that resistance state, I'm like, I don't ever say I'm choosing resistance or I'm choosing to, harbor
No,
these.
but you just refuse to back down.
hmm But when I can stop it and I can say, recognize it, right?
Yep.
Recognize it and be like, holy smokes, I'm in victim mode right here. I don't want to be here. I know
Yeah.
what's going to happen next.
Yeah.
So I'm going to stop it. And it can be a physical, change your physiology. You can do something, whether it's like no, or stomp your foot or something. Just for me, it's to bring that consciousness back to my thinking brain and interrupt that thought pattern. I have to
Mhm.
interrupt it. And it's physically moving my body or saying stop. And it's stop,
Stop. Okay, just stop.
stop. Yeah.
And
And
you
and
know this is going nowhere good.
yeah, just stop, Jacene, stop, right?
Yeah.
And I can stop and breathe and then start to lean in and have that willingness to change. Sometimes it takes a while though. Like if I'm really angry
Oh,
and
we're
I
not great
feel,
at it all the time.
yeah,
No.
no. And I feel like somebody did me wrong or my children
Or
wrong or
yeah, mess with your kids. Oh
children
my gosh.
wrong, right? The mama bear comes
Yeah.
out and it's like, mm-mm, no, you didn't.
Uh-huh.
Right?
Uh-huh.
And so I think those are my most challenging parts is to discern, you know, what part do I want to lean into and but I get to choose how I feel, right?
And I get to choose what I create.
Right.
If I want to create, and I do, if I
Right.
want to create a synergy between me and the people around me, then I choose to listen.
Yes.
I choose to slow down and to be present and to look them in the eye while they're talking. I
Yep.
choose not to turn my back and busy myself with something else. And I choose not to check my phone. I even choose to ignore the buzz on my wrist. I
Yep.
deliberately make the choice. I feel the buzz, but then I choose I'm going to look at you and I'm going to stay present with you.
Yeah.
Yeah. That deliberate choice makes a huge difference. And we know with the creator based way, we are the creator of our life experience. You are, I am. I am the creator here for the little bitty life that God has given me. I am the creator.
Right.
And I have everything I need, all of the light and truth and the power to create that because he's already given that to me. We know 50-50 is normal, and we know change is good because it brings us back up and then down and then up and then down.
Right.
Yeah. And we know that we're different by design. So if we know that, it's the deliberate choice to heed that
Right.
makes the difference. And that's what makes us resilient.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
It's phenomenal.
It is.
Hey, how's the book going with book club? I haven't been able to read it. And
Oh, you
it
haven't?
sounded so good last week
Yeah.
when you were talking about it.
Yeah, it's going really well. We're 3/4 of the way through this week, and we're getting into the part that, how do apple pancakes change your life? So,
Wait, say this again.
how do apple pancakes change your life, or how did they change the life of one young man who also influenced the change in a big corporation, actually, Walt Disney
With
World,
apple pancakes?
with apple pancakes.
Tell me the
And
story. How did
apple
Disney?
pancakes and Aunt Bee.
Oh, Aunt Bee and Mayberry.
No,
No?
no,
Okay, tell me.
no. Okay, so just quick, because you guys are going to want to read the book. But um, Kevin Brown and his wife have a son who's autistic, and they wanted to take him to Disney World. I can't remember the age he was that they first went. And um, they had him on a really strict diet because it really helped him to manage his emotions.
Right.
And so, they thought, oh my gosh, when we go, we're supposed to eat with all the characters, and we've got this special table, and they get
Right.
into the restaurant, and his wife has like the whole list of things that he can't have, right? And then they give that to the waiter, and the waiter's kind of annoyed and said,
well,
we're going
that's
to
not very Disney-like.
well, this was years ago. I mean, we're talking, in the
Okay.
1990s, I think.
Okay.
And so it was before most of society realized that people have special needs with their diet, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Before. So he said, I'm going to have to take this to our head chef and see what our head chef can do.
Yeah.
So they're like, and Kevin Brown he's very protective of his wife.
Oh, yeah, this is his son.
And he's like, that waiter just really wasn't very nice. And I wanted to like beat him up and like,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I worked and I saved and I did this whole trip for my son. So it would be really amazing.
Yes.
And
And here
then
we
to
are
have that.
eating. Yeah. And this is, I just know it's going to go bad, right? I know it's going to go wrong. Same thing that we've been
It's
talking
that
about.
negative. It's like my sink, right? Same
Yes.
thing. Just really
Yes.
wants to blow up. Yeah.
So this head chef comes out, and she doesn't talk to Kevin, and she doesn't talk to his wife. She leans down and talks to his son.
Oh,
And hey,
already she's winning.
hey, sweetie, tell me, what is your favorite thing to eat?
Uh-huh.
Apple pancakes. Well, how do you make them?
Uh-huh.
So he tells her how his mom makes the apple pancakes. And she says, well, I've got this list of things that we have to be careful of for your nutrition. And I don't have the ingredients for apple pancakes. How about we work together and we do something different today? You and me, we can make something different for you today.
Oh, how fun.
And so they figure out what they're going to do. And she gets him his breakfast and they go about their day. Well, the next day, again, because with autism, he's already been to this restaurant, so he wants to go back.
Right.
And
the comfort in knowing.
Yes.
Hey,
yes,
thanks
I've
for
been
joining
here,
us
it's
today
safe,
in a creator-based
and I
life.
had food that
I
I could
hope
eat.
you felt
And
that
so
compassion,
they go,
mindfulness, and hope you came
and
seeking
she
today.
introduced herself.
You can
and she was
find more of
Bee.
it at cmhcoaching.com or on Linktree
They go back
/CMH
the next
coaching.
morning.
Of course,
and,
any social media outlet, we're there too. Because you felt
same
the
waiter.
benefit and light in this
And he
message,
puts time, he's like,
please
"I'll bring the
invite
chef
those
out,"
you care
you know?
deeply about to join us.
No,
Help
now
us
you
to
served a
create a
second
ripple
day.
effect
Yeah,
across the
yeah.
globe
I'm
of
just gonna
compassion,
bring the chef
mindfulness,
out
and
because I
hope.
can't help you, right?
Then
And
we can
so,
create a creator-based
Aunt Bee
life
Bee
together.
comes out,
Have a great week,
And she
y'all. We'll
said,
talk to you
so
soon.
what is it, Josh, that you want? Josh Brown. She had to call him Josh
Uh-huh.
Brown. Josh Brown, what is it that you want for breakfast this morning? And he's like, well, I really want my apple pancakes. And she
Mm,
said, okay, I'll
okay.
make you apple pancakes. So she had gone to the store, spent her own
Mm,
money to buy the ingredients to make these apple pancakes for Josh Brown, an 8-year, I think he
wow.
was 8 at the time.
Yeah.
And it literally changed the emotion
Yeah.
for mom and dad
The
to
whole
see that someone,
experience with that
because they
emotional
asked,
experience. Yeah.
right? They asked her, they're like, wait, you don't even have this on your menu. How did you? And she said, oh, I went and got the ingredients last night. I was hoping Josh would come back. She didn't even know.
Oh.
I was hoping he would come back. Right.
Yeah.
And so it literally changed the way that Disney did their menus and how they could cater to different before it was even a thing. Aunt B, which they
Uh-huh.
call her from now on, from then on,
I love that.
makes, and I mean, you fast forward till this kid is like 21 and he's
Mhm.
graduating from college, which they said he would never do. And where does he want to go? He
Disney, of course. And
wants
he
to
wants
go
to go get
see
apple
Aunt B.
pancakes with Aunt B. Yeah.
That's where he wants to go because it meant so much. And um, it's a really busy restaurant. And they get there, and I think he was 16 at the time, and they're like, we just need to see the head chef. We just need to see B. Will you just tell her Josh Brown is here? And the person at the reception was like, you're Josh Brown? And they're like, yeah, like they're
Yeah.
celebrities
Why?
or something, right? Yeah, it
Yeah.
was like a 3-hour wait or
Yeah.
something. And they're like, hang on just a second. And your dad and mom, yep, yep. And they're like, are you the apple pancake kid?
Oh
And he's
my
like, yep,
gosh.
yeah. And so you just don't know, right? When you become someone's hero, or
Yeah.
just by doing something small, you can be heroic in the things that you do. So that's what the whole premise of this book is about. Yeah, it's unleashing your hero. So, yeah,
That is really beautiful. And it ties in perfectly with what we're talking about with resilience.
it does.
Because Josh's resilience increased so much, I'm sure, as Aunt B saw him.
Yep.
Yeah. And valued him and face to face, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just
Mm-hmm.
loved him. That is amazing.
Yep.
So when we move forward through the week this week, we can do that for the people around us.
Can.
But I would say we really need to do that for ourselves
Yes. Agreed.
because, yeah, that we need to, Jen says, what is that phrase that she wakes up to in the morning? Good morning. I
Morning.
love
Good
you,
morning,
Jennifer.
Jennifer. I love you.
I
Yeah.
love you. Yeah. And I know the mirror, talking to yourself in the mirror. I love you. I
Mhm.
makes a real difference as you get dressed in the morning. And I've done this. Get dressed in the morning, you're like, wow, you look good. Really changes the way your day goes,
I
as
was
opposed to isn't that another wrinkle?
right,
Yeah.
right. Like, oh my gosh.
So different. Wow, you look good. Look at how great your eyes look.
Right. We stopped for breakfast. It's a place, if you guys are ever in Central Oregon, there's a place called Brand 44. Incredible breakfast there. Um, and you go in the women's restroom and you'll go to leave and you look up and there's like a neon sign that says, wow, you look so pretty.
Oh, that's
You go to
beautiful.
leave and I'm like, oh, I do think,
I
right? It was so
do.
weird. Like, it's just like I had this emotion and I was like, I just stood a little taller as I walked out of that bathroom. I look pretty, I
Yeah,
was like, oh,
yeah.
those things
And
matter.
that is the key to resilience. It's all love.
It is.
Choosing to love. Absolutely. So, summary, count your blessings, find the gratitude, right? Lean in and let God check with your creator and be willing to see the lesson, the one. I just think that the one is so important when we boil it down. And because I love my husband and because I love my contractor, not the same way I love my husband, but he's great. But because of the love that I have for those people, it will change the way that I work with probably buying another faucet. And probably finding the other faucet 2 or 3 years from now somewhere in the home. But you know what? It's just a faucet. It's not, we are creating a life, which is so different from purchasing a faucet. So.
And they will see how you react and how you choose to act towards them. And they'll remember that.
Well, and I hope he doesn't remember when I looked at him and I said, man, if we don't find that, I'm going to be really mad.
Well, then you can go back and say, you know what? I've chosen not to be really
That's
mad.
right. I just forget about it. It's not a big deal.
I thought about that, but I choose not to do that.
Yeah.
That's what they'll remember. Yeah.
That's what I hope he remembers. He's a great guy. All right. So resilience. Till next week. We'll do it. Thanks, JC.
You're welcome. Bye, y'all.
Bye, y'all. Have a beautiful week. Create something great.
Yes.
I can choose to be happy, choose to be free, moment by moment. It's all up to me, 'cause what I think about, I bring about. That's the way it is, and there is no doubt. Day by day, I pave the way with every little thought I think.
Thanks for joining us today in A Creator-Based Life. I hope you felt that compassion, mindfulness, and hope you came seeking today. You can find more of it at cmhcoaching.com or on linktree/cmhcoaching. Of course, any social media outlet, we're there too. Because you felt the benefit and light in this message, please invite those you care deeply about to join us. Help us to create a ripple effect across the globe of compassion, mindfulness, and hope. Then we can create a creator-based life together. Have a great week, y'all. We'll talk to you soon.
I can choose to be happy, choose to be free, moment by moment. It's all up to me, 'cause what I think about, I bring about. That's the way it is, and there is no doubt. Day by day, I pave the way with every little thought I think. Day by day, I pave the way with